Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today on the Three Man Blitz. I'd just like to take a moment to remind you to follow us on Twitter at Three Man Blitz. Visit us at www.threemanblitz.com. You can listen to us on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcast, Breaker, and don't forget to view us on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and hit the like button. Thanks, guys. Hey, everybody, and welcome into this quick segment from Three Man Blitz. Got Kwesi, and I'm Andrew. Jeremy's taking some personal time, got some things to attend to. As you all know, yesterday was a wild ride when it came to injuries, and it was terrible. Kwesi was talking, and his theory was, with short training camp and everybody not getting their reps in with COVID. I mean, that's probably honestly what it is. So, do you think, honestly, in your opinion, that we can expect more injuries?
Unfortunately so. I mean, honestly, the first thing that came to my mind once I started seeing all these injuries happening, especially a lot of ACL tears, a lot of knee injuries, I as much as I was thinking about the pros, it was happening to the pros, I started thinking about the college players and hoping that it doesn't happen to them also too. You know, they have less than the NFL players, but so I hate to see it either way. But definitely it was part of that because of the COVID, not practicing much, all those little things except they're a normal year.
And see, that was the first place my mind went whenever you mentioned that. I was like, man, college football season is just starting up. These Power 5 conferences are just getting going. What's going to happen? It's crazy to think about. And I think this is kind of like an unexpected side effect. I mean, we've been so wrapped up in talking about COVID and the politics surrounding it and who will, who won't, that I guess this just kind of slipped under the radar.
Exactly.
But anyway, we're going to go over some of the injuries and look at some waiver wire pickups that you guys need to hit. But before we do any of that, I'm going to crack a cold one.
Hey, this is for you, Jay. We miss you, bro.
We miss you, bro.
No, I don't. I was going to drink it anyway.
Two-man blitz today, baby. Hey, we got to make the show better without him. The way he's all jealous.
Oh, no, already.
You know you're my best friend, right, Kwesi?
Besties.
Not Jeremy.
It's stupid, bro.
Yeah. So, let's start with the general consensus of the number one overall draft pick, Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah. Which gives you a heads up that these injuries did not discriminate at all.
No.
On every level, it tore down players. In every position, it tore down players. Christian McCaffrey, it hurt me in so many ways because he was a great player, of course, first of all. Secondly, he was my number one draft pick. You can pick up his backup, but it will not be CMC. But the good thing is he's only going to be out for like 6 weeks, as far as I know, something like that. Maybe
I think I was reading 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
So
there's a good chance he can help you out later on in your season.
Yeah. Just stash him. Don't trade him if you don't have to. I mean, if you absolutely have to, I mean, do what you got to do. But I suggest you hold on to him. But in the meantime, I would look at running back from Carolina, Mike Davis. This is going to be his replacement.
Yeah.
As Kwesi stated earlier, he is no CMC. But, if you need somebody to fill in that flex spot, you need somebody there. I mean, this is going to be your guy, I guess.
Yeah. And definitely be a good time to pick up on I'm going to go on blank right now. Their quarterback.
Teddy Bridgewater?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
This would be a great time to pick up on him if you haven't got him, if he's out there for some reason, because they definitely probably will be throwing the ball up more.
I would assume so. And moving on to the 49ers, you had Raheem Mostert, who was injured this week. I don't have all the details on his injury. I went down checking them off.
Yeah. Matter of fact, it's probably a bad time to be in San Francisco. Mostert got injured. Nick Bosa got injured.
Mm-hmm.
Garoppolo got injured. I don't know you'll get to all these players. I apologize, but
no, you're good. You're good, bro.
That whole city went down. Man.
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing you mentioned Nick Bosa. I wasn't really going to cover the defensive side of the ball. I was just kind of looking at offensive pickups.
Yeah.
But if you're playing IDP, like he's a big piece missing out of your
exactly. And guess whose team he's on?
Oh,
yeah, my team too.
Queasy getting ate up with that Andrew bug.
I had him too. Yeah.
Yeah, but Raheem Mostert's number 2 guy, the Robin to his Batman, Tevin Coleman, is also injured.
Also, yeah.
Also injured. So it looks like, I'm telling you, the guy to pick up is Jerick McKinnon.
Some
people kind of had him stashed away anyway because people were talking about him like, oh, he may have a breakout season, this and that.
Yeah.
Jerick McKinnon is really good.
Yeah.
But he's been battling the injury bug himself over the past couple seasons.
Exactly.
So here's this chance to shine. If you want a guy that you can feel pretty comfortable in slipping into that flex spot, if he's still available, I would absolutely grab him off waivers if you're eat up with injuries, kind of like my friend Queasy here.
Yeah, exactly. But I think he'll do pretty well to fit in there.
Oh, I did too. I remember when he was in Minnesota a couple seasons back. He looked really good.
I almost forgot about that. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, looked really good. Another pickup is wide receiver Jerry Jeudy for the Denver Broncos because Cortland Sutton, his season is done. Season is done. He had a knee injury, and he's not coming back. And they also lost their quarterback.
Yeah.
It's rough.
So Judy's going to be thrust into the spotlight. So you'll see what he's made of.
Now, out of these rookie receivers, if there were any that were ready for it, I would say it would be between him and CeeDee Lamb, who went to Dallas. Those two guys were just like a par above everybody else.
Exactly.
Cam Akers is down, so he's probably not going to be available in most of your leagues, but he's worth an honorable mention anyway. Running back Malcolm Brown. It looked kind of like he was the lead guy to begin with anyway. I know they were splitting snaps a lot. Cam Akers looked really good.
He did.
So another guy to flex in there, Will Henderson.
Yeah. Malcolm Brown was trying to do his thing. He's going to be getting probably 80% of the snaps now. So he'll do his thing. But Cam Akers, I don't think he's going to be out for very long. Maybe 3 weeks or something like that.
Yeah. Moving on. Saquon Barkley. Barkley, Jeremy and I were actually talking about this earlier. He had so much hype coming out of college, and he just gets injured season after season. He is the greatest that never was, if that makes sense.
It's becoming that way, man. He was the first injury I heard of this weekend, Saquon Barkley. So when I heard of it, I hated to hear it, first of all, but I wasn't surprised either because he does have a long history of injuries. And so when I heard it, I wasn't expecting as many injuries as was going to be. So it wasn't a shock to hear his name at all. But unfortunately, he's one of the reasons why I picked up Christian McCaffrey instead of Barkley because of that injury history. So I'm glad. So I'm glad I kind of did it that way. But we'll see. So
your two options to replace him here are running backs Dion Lewis, who is the option I would prefer probably.
And he stepped in pretty well last game.
Yeah, Dion Lewis is not a bad running back at all, but he's kind of a journeyman running back, kind of been around the league.
Very versatile too.
He is. He was with the Patriots, with the Titans, now with the Giants. Your other option is Wayne Gallman, who personally I wouldn't touch.
No.
But, desperate times.
Yeah.
Getting away from the injuries for a moment, just speaking of a guy who may be filling in at one of these spots pretty soon, I know he's actually going to visit with the Giants tomorrow. Devonta Freeman, free agent running back.
Okay. That'd be a great pickup for any team. And definitely will be thrust right into the position if you did go to the Giants or, again, I mean, we've heard of numerous, at least I think about 4 decent running backs that's went down. So he has opportunity out there for him.
Yeah, he does. I guess it pays off for him to hold out like he did. Somebody will pay him some money.
Yeah.
So if he's still available, go ahead and scoop him up. I think we'll hear some positive news on him within this next week.
Yeah. He'll definitely get a nice 1-year contract.
Yeah. Quarterback Nick Mullins for the San Francisco 49ers to replace Jimmy Garoppolo.
Jimmy G.
From what I can tell, he's not going to be out for more than like a week, maybe 2. They're kind of still in the early stages of kind of figuring out what's wrong with him, but he says he feels fine from a report I read earlier today. So I can imagine if you pick up Nick Mullins, like it's a must-have situation, like you're not going to need him to hold on to him.
Yeah, definitely just for a game or something like that. Game or two.
Yeah, and I would only do it if it were a good matchup, really.
Exactly.
Darius Slayton, wide receiver for the Giants. I'm not completely sure he's going to be available either. He had a bang up week one and kind of went ghosted us a little bit this last week. But
Okay.
Sterling Shepard, the Giants' number one guy, is out with what looks like a case of turf toe.
Okay.
Really affects receivers, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. That's it sounds like a simple injury, but those guys be out for like 3 or 4 weeks with that.
Yeah, I know like 3 weeks is the average. You're right, 4 weeks sometimes.
Yeah.
So Darius Slayton might be a good guy to really take off these next few weeks. And honestly, I think he was doing well battling Sterling Shepard for the number one position anyway. He
Okay.
looked really good.
Yeah. And Jones has been really throwing that ball, and again, that might be his number one option to throw the ball down with Barkley and Shepard out. So
Exactly. Yeah, maybe Darius Slayton and Evan Ingram might be this whole offense.
Ingram, I'm not
Evan
feeling
Ingram, you
Ingram,
hate Evan
man.
Ingram.
I do. I do.
Oh, man. Moving
He
on.
has so much talent and nothing. Yeah. And
Moving on. Paris Campbell went down with an injury. It's unknown from the last report I read how long he's going to be out. Of course, he's a wide receiver for the Colts. T.Y. Hilton, he's gone. He's picked up in every one of your leagues. So a guy you might want to look at who did pretty well last season when called upon was Zach Pascal.
Yeah, he's definitely a good pickup. Will fill in pretty well. I've had him before. I think it might have been last year. I had him for a couple games and did well for me. So he'll be a great pickup for you.
You got to flex him. He's not going to hurt you.
No.
I mean, Drew Lock went down with a rotator cuff injury. It's not torn. So I think the time is 3 weeks on this, according to what Kwesi was telling me earlier.
Yeah.
So quarterback Jeff Driscoll, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with him from his time replacing Stafford last season.
Yeah, how about no?
Yeah, he wasn't very good. Kenny Golladay still looked good, but he wasn't very good. So with your number one wide receiver out on this Broncos offense, and also you having to replace a quarterback, that makes you nauseous.
Yeah. I couldn't even tell you nothing about Denver. I know Elway pulling out his hair, so packing up the bags too, probably.
His bag and his bag of oats.
Yeah, he's gonna be out of there.
Oh, and it's not even his fault this year. I'm not saying every other year is not his fault.
But his luck on quarterbacks has ran out.
Okay, another couple of pickups. These don't necessarily have anything to do with injury, but they're guys that you should look out for if they're available. Joshua Kelly, running back for the Chargers. He is a rookie, and he's getting a lot of snaps. The Chargers aren't really passing as much as I thought they would, whether it's Tyrod Taylor or Justin Herbert. They pass just enough, but they are running the ball a lot, and I think because it's a more secure option to get the ball off the field.
Yeah.
And so Joshua Kelly is getting quite a bit of snaps, along with, of course, Austin Eckler. So Joshua Kelly may be available, and if he is, definitely pick him up. He's a guy that I wouldn't be afraid to flex, generally week in, week out.
They're going to be a team to watch out for, a real balanced team, so that guy will get some touches.
Dude, and they took the Chiefs to the wire this past week.
Man. Yeah. He looked real good.
And last but not least, we've heard a lot of hype on this guy since about 2016. Will he? Won't he? You know, he's the wide receiver that never quite panned out, but he's looking really good this season. Corey Davis.
Antonio Brown?
Corey Davis, wide receiver for the Titans. He was a recipient of 2 touchdown passes from Tannehill this past weekend. So
I didn't even know. I didn't even see it.
Yeah, and their victory over the Jags. Minshew mania is real, but hey, Corey Davis looks like he's finally starting to come into his own. Way late, but he's doing it a little bit.
Exactly.
So I would stash him and maybe see how he does for another week. But you're going to want to get in on him early because if he does well for another week, you're going to have to pay up for him in Fab, or you're going to have to spend a high waiver wire grab on him. So
Exactly. And this early in the season, you're probably still dropping players, trying to get your set roster up there, and he'll be somebody good to grab right now, just to gamble on to see how well he does.
stash him.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, guys, we'll get back at you tomorrow, next couple of days, with our recap of Week 2, give you all the breakdown, the highlights, the scores, and we'll give you our predictions for Week 3. And, of course, we got to pay up our shot bets. Didn't win them all this week. Queasy was on fire, though, let me tell you.
I got to remember all mine, man. I was kind of buzzing last time.
Jeremy got us. He's our secretary.
All right, man.
All right, guys, thanks for joining us. And, as always, go for 3.
Go for 3, man.
Don't forget to follow us on Twitter. Queasy at RastaLion1131, Jeremy at CheckerboardJ, and me at Jedi Quarterback.